Hello everyone, this is Udita here on behalf of Team YLCC. Today we have with us our mentee Nihareeka. She was part of our Holistic Development Growth Camp. So let us hear directly from Nihareeka about her journey. When she had approached us, she was really aware and extremely aware student we had. So let's hear from Nihareeka. Hello Nihareeka, how would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone. My name is Nihareeka Ghadage and I am a third year law student from ILS Law College and I belong from Pune.
Nice. So Nihareeka, since you are a law student, I would like to know how has been your law school journey so far?
Yeah, so we were the pandemic batch. So we had a lot of time in hand. In the morning, we had our lectures, and from then on, we had a lot of time in hand to do whatever we wanted to do. So also we had the liberty of attending a lot of webinars since all the webinars were available online. So we used to get access to some great people which we used to read about them and see them on screen. And we had the liberty to attend their sessions and learn from them as well. So I think that was a very good use of time. And also, since all the competitions used to take place online, I think it was very for people like me who were, afraid of speaking in public or had stage fear, we could call. So since there were even the videos of the judges used to be turned off, I think it was very, I don't know, it was a very good experience because then it gave me more liberty to speak and gave me more confidence to participate in many competitions. So my only motive was to utilize as much facilities as I can that the online law school has to offer. Since we couldn't get access to library or any offline kind of experience, my only motive was to make as much as I can from the online whatever liberties we got. So I participated in a lot of competitions. I don't think I missed any competition that was available. So I like from even from practice moot court competitions to even the competitions which actually count. I participated in every one of them, and it has been definitely a very good experience for me.
Niharika, as you had already said that you are a pandemic batch student, I would like to know how did you plan your time during pandemic? As you have already mentioned that you tried everything. So we would really love to know how did you plan your time during this pandemic?
Right. So, like I mentioned, because of we got many liberties, we did not have to travel to college, and that saved a real lot of time. So, we literally had the entire day after the sparing the morning time in which we had lectures. So, even if we have like lunch and take a break in the afternoon, so the entire evening we had in hand. So that my evening used to get consumed in like I used to attend, I believe, every week. Every evening there would be a webinar or even a lecture, and there were a lot of competition videos also available on YouTube. So I loved watching that because then you get to see other people perform even from like great NLUs, which we could not see, right? So I used to watch YouTube a lot, like the like attending lectures or webinars or competition videos. Then I would also get free feedback from great judges. So I would do that in my free time, and that would consume like the entire day.
That is nice. That is really, really planned. You really, focus more on learning and learning. Yeah.
It was
So
initially just the second year, like later half of the first year and the second year, because first year, so I believe me and my friends, we were just ranting about online college not giving any opportunities and wasting the entire day all day long. And even our semesters, like they have been cut from 6 month semester to 3 month semester. So it's like 2 years have been covered in just one span of 1 year. So I believe in the later half of the first year, I started getting the realization that I cannot use that as an excuse for my lifetime, because no one is going to ask me if I was a pandemic batch student and how much loss have I incurred because of that, because that is ultimately not going to count. So from first year, second semester of first year onwards, I started looking up and participating in competitions and looking out for free resources like the webinars which you could attend or even YouTube for that matter. So from second semester onwards, I started making full utilization of the time in hand, I would say.
that is great. That is great, Niharika. Niharika, I think our audience will be very interested in knowing this. What all places you have interned till now?
So since I have been the pandemic student. I'm repetitively saying this, but in the first and second year, there was no scope of getting offline internships as such. And I've recently entered into my third year. So in the first 2 years, in the first year, the internship which I did was a basically legal content writing internship, wherein I had to research about certain laws or the topics which were like trending topics into the legal industry and write exhaustive articles about that. So that was my first internship. Second internship was an online legal research internship. So I had to just researching was the basic component of that internship. So I had to research. That was the second internship. Then my first offline internship was in where I was in second year. So that was I got to intern under a lawyer who had his chambers in the High Court. So that was the internship wherein I got the most exposure, I would say, because then I got exposed to so many new things like so it was a high court internship. So how to conduct yourself, how to maintain your conduct, and how to even how the court proceedings go, and then legal vetting of documents, of agreements, even drafting of notices or replies to notices. So I basically got exposure to legal work in that internship. So that was a very good experience, and even the research level had I could see the level increase in the research work. So I had to do an exhaustive research on vast laws like CPC. So that was a very exhaustive research work as well. So that was a very good internship, I would say, because this was a very because it was an offline internship. It gave me more exposure basically, and I got to know many more things, which I don't think I would have gotten in an online internship if that was my first one. Then the recent internship which I did was it was an online internship, and the firm was dealing basically in insolvency related laws. So that was when I researched exhaustively on insolvency and bankruptcy code, and that was really interesting. So that was my latest internship. And now what has happened is my college timings are clashing, so I'm not getting any offline internships as of now. So this year my focus is going to be on if I can get an online internship, and writing research papers would be my first priority, and also participating in as many competitions as I can.
So yeah, internships give you this practical knowledge which we are not getting when we are in our college. So that's a different world together. So it feels like, oh, this is also there, this is also there. It's like curiosity is always there. Oh, this is also something new, this is also something new. Yes. So okay, all right, Nihareeka, that is really nice that you are managing all your colleges as well as your online internship, physical internships, everything. So let's approach to a final question. That is, you approached YLCC for mentorship. So what exactly you were looking from YLCC when you had approached us?
Right. So like I said that the later part of first year was when the realization struck to me that now I have to take things seriously, because I cannot use the excuse that I'm the pandemic batch student for the rest of my life, or even when at the day zero when I'm about to get some placement, or at any point in my life. So it was I was going through this huge NLU non-NLU comparison complex, because that is I'm definitely sure that takes toll over every like first year, second year student, and then on you start coping up with it. Then on you just accept it and move on and do the best you can. So at that point I thought that I really needed some guidance to go in a proper direction. And I used to watch these YouTube videos I told you, like initially also I mentioned about surfing on YouTube over such people who have actually made something of their internships and received good internships and good placements, and they are very satisfied. So my basic motive was to get guidance from them. So I the first thing which I noticed in them was they were not they used to keep reiterating that they did a lot of mistakes and would have been better if they had known these things initially in their initial years. So since I was not actively I would say, but wasting time because online, so I thought that it would be very helpful for me to get guidance at that point, so that when I go into third year I can not do those mistakes, and instead of learning from my mistakes later, I would initially learn what mistakes can happen and how to just prevent them and move ahead. So that is how also I have been very active on LinkedIn since the beginning. So I knew about YLCC, and also a seniors recommended YLCC. So that is how I ended up in the holistic growth camp.
Oh, nice. That is it. We would like to know what exactly you were looking from YLCC when you approached us.
Right. So, like I mentioned initially, that I got serious about the entire situation in like the second semester of the first year. So since then, like I mentioned initially, that I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos. So I used to come across videos of people who have secured great internships, or even the senior professionals, and they used to say that if I had known these things, then I would have been different. The scenario would have been different, or if I had known these mistakes, then I would do these things differently. So instead of learning from my mistakes, I thought that it would be even better and facilitative if I did not commit those mistakes. So and also I used to go through this huge, I had this huge complex, like I believe every first and second year student might have it, of the NLU and non-NLU comparison. So I am a non-NLU student. So there was this thing in my mind that, are we falling behind and what or what not. So from third year onwards, I believe everyone accepts it and moves on. But in the first and second year, it is very important, I believe, to get rid of that kind of thinking. So I thought that I needed some guidance as to where to go and how to make the entire journey good for me, to very manageable. So since I mentioned that I was very active on LinkedIn from the very beginning, so I knew about YLCC, and also a senior friend recommended it to me when I talked about wanting to, have some guidance regarding how to approach things. She mentioned YLCC's growth camp to me, and that's how I ended up here.
All right, Nihareeka. So Nihareeka, we would like to know what were your key takeaways from our mentorship program?
So every one of Samanika ma'am's lecture and even the guest lectures were very good and very enlightening, I would say. And the one thing ma'am used to say was undercommit and overperform. So that has like stuck with me. And every time I go, or I keep reminding myself of that, like it is such impactful words these are. So from the basic things, like from CV drafting to like very basic things like customizing your CV, of sending introductory emails to your colleagues or your bosses or the partners in the firms, or follow-ups and basic things like networking. So we had elaborative and very exhaustive sessions on focusing on the very basic points. So that I thought was very helpful for me. Also, the best part was the best lecture, if I have to suggest any, would be the HR round section, because then the lecture began with how to introduce yourself. So there were so if we are asked to introduce yourself, we just tell like even like how I introduce myself, we just tell our name, what institute we belong to, what place we belong to, that's it. But in the HR round, ma'am explained how we can add the extra spice and spice up the introduction so well that the other person has an interest in us by just adding so many things. You can just tell the meaning of your name, or your personality type, so that gives a very different impression about you to the other person. So, and also about so initially people think that if their hobbies are unrelated to their profession, then that is a waste of time, or they just keep it as hobbies. So ma'am added in the new perspective wherein you can relate the learnings from your hobbies in your professional life as well. So these were the things I never thought about, and I don't think I would have even thought about this without joining the session. Also, the extra element was, I would say, the alumni lectures which we had about their experiences and their stories, and even the guest faculty used to come in, the partners and experts in the respective domains. They used to address our queries and also tell how the field looks like. So that was the best element, I would say. Also, the one-on-one session which I had with Samanika ma'am was very enlightening, I would say, because then there were so many things in my brain. I was in second year where I got the holistic growth camp.
Correct.
So there was a lot of confusion since everything was online. There was no actual guidance, I would say. So there was a lot of confusion, and there were so many things in my brain. I needed to channelize everything in the proper direction. So one-on-one session was literally the very perfect thing that would happen, I would say, because then I told everything that I had in mind, and then ma'am used to tell me ki, if I'm going in the right direction, or how can I interrelate or interlink everything that I have in brain. Also about there were also ma'am told me that, you know, not everything is your cup of tea. So instead of pursuing everything, just you should know yourself. So thinking on paper and knowing exactly what you want to do. So these are certain things which were a very I would really say the growth camp was a turning point in my life, because then I got introduced to so many new aspects. So that was the best part, I would say.
That is good to know, Niharika. So thank you, Niharika. Thank you so much for your time and your feedback. We are awaiting some good news from you, and all the best for the future. Thank you so much.
Thank